The Golden Summer. Based on the book The Great Gatsby written by F.Scott Fitzgerald. The first time I saw the mansion across the bay, its windows blazed like a constellation fallen to earth. Every night, music drifted across the water, jazz melodies that seemed to carry promises of something extraordinary, something just beyond reach. I had moved to West Egg that spring, renting a modest cottage next to what locals called the Gatsby place, though I had yet to meet the mysterious man himself. My neighbors' parties were legendary. Cars lined the circular drive like beetles drawn to flame, their chrome bumpers catching moonlight as women in beaded dresses and men in white dinner jackets streamed through the gates. From my window, I could see couples dancing on the terrace, their silhouettes moving against the warm glow of Chinese lanterns strung between marble columns. The laughter seemed almost desperate in its brightness, as if joy itself were a performance requiring an audience. It was my cousin Daisy who first mentioned knowing him, or rather, knowing of him. She lived across the bay in the more fashionable East Egg, married to Tom Buchanan, a man whose wealth was old and established, unlike the new money that glittered so obviously in my part of Long Island. When I visited their Georgian colonial mansion, Daisy would sometimes pause mid-conversation, her voice trailing off as she gazed across the water toward those distant lights. "Do you know J. Gatsby?" she asked one afternoon, her tone carefully casual as we sat on her dock, the green light at its end winking rhythmically in the haze. "He's my neighbor," I replied, surprised by the sudden tension in her posture. "Though I've never actually met him." Something flickered across her face, recognition, perhaps, or memory. She turned back to watch a yacht cut through the Sound, its wake disturbing the perfect mirror of the water. "How funny," she murmured, though she didn't sound amused. The invitation came on a Saturday, delivered by Gatsby's chauffeur in uniform. Most party-goers simply appeared at his gates uninvited, but I had received the rare honor of a formal request, written in elegant script on cream paper that smelled faintly of expensive cologne. That evening, I crossed the lawn that separated our properties, following the sound of an orchestra tuning their instruments. The party was a kaleidoscope of excess. Guests helped themselves to cocktails from silver fountains while servants in white coats circulated with platters of delicacies I couldn't name. Women draped in pearls laughed too loudly at jokes that weren't particularly funny, while men in perfectly tailored suits discussed business deals and stock tips. Everyone seemed to be playing a role, though I couldn't determine what the play was meant to be about. I found Gatsby himself standing apart from his guests, watching the festivities with the detached air of a theater director observing his production. He was younger than I had expected, perhaps 30, with an extraordinary gift for hope written in the way he carried himself. When he smiled, it was as if he had chosen you out of the whole external world, reflecting your interests with an irresistible prejudice in your favor. "I'm Gatsby," he said simply, extending a hand that was surprisingly calloused for a man of his apparent leisure. We talked through the night, though I noticed he had a peculiar habit of calling everyone old sport, and a way of speaking that seemed almost rehearsed, as if he had practiced these conversations before a mirror. His eyes, pale and luminous, would drift periodically across the bay toward East Egg, toward a green light that pulsed like a heartbeat in the darkness. As the party reached its crescendo, I realized that J. Gatsby, for all his magnificent gestures and calculated charm, was perhaps the loneliest man I had ever encountered. He moved through his own celebration like a ghost, always searching the crowd for a face that never appeared, always listening for a voice that remained silent among the chorus of artificial laughter. The green light continued its steady beacon across the water, and I began to understand that some dreams burn so brightly they consume everything in their path,